And I are here to announce our next big move, biggest move we've ever made for Revival Today. Behind me is a building that will look nothing like it looks right now when we finish. We're on just under 5 acres of property that we've just finished purchasing, which is going to give us the ability to have a state-of-the-art studio. And in that studio, something I've wanted to have for a long time, which is a live studio audience. It's going to be a 500-seat building when we finish with it that'll give us the ability to touch the world with our broadcasts. This facility is going to give me the ability to do what I've really missed, which is having you in the audience to minister to personally. Obviously, you can't beat the reach of digital media. We touch the whole world every day. But we have the ability now with this to lay hands on people, pray for people that are sick, a place where you can bring people that are drug addicted, demonized, and really give them the ministry that you can't get on YouTube and Facebook. I can't wait. And then beyond that, we're going to announce the launch of Revival Today Church. We're going to hold Holy Ghost church services every Sunday morning. I'll be there most Sunday mornings. This isn't going to be like some little side project. We're going to give you and your family a place you can go that's a soul-winning church that values the presence of God, where you can get prayed for and ministered to, where there's not a critical race theory lecture or a mask and social distancing 10 minutes of no talking to anybody in the lobby. None of that. We're going to have a place where you're free and where you're free to experience the presence of God.
I'm incredibly excited because I know a lot of you have been asking about different meetings and events that we couldn't have during COVID, and trust me, we tried so hard. So this really frees us up to do everything that we want to do with healing meetings and women's conferences. So I am so looking forward to seeing you and having you be a part of this.
So I want to give you a twofold call to action. Number one, if your church turned in to a liberal nightmare in 2020 and you need a place to go, I would be happy to have you at our church. Number two, if you are a partner or a friend of our ministry, Revival Today, this is the biggest move by far we've ever made. By the time we finish remodeling that building, the acquiring of the property, you're looking at a couple of M's. So if you would stand with us now, I'll say thank you ahead of time. Pray and ask the Holy Ghost what He would have you to do. You've been so generous, and I thank you ahead of time for your extreme generosity. I know I speak on behalf of my wife, everybody here at Revival Today, when I say we love you very much. And now I can say I look forward to seeing you face to face here at the new home of Revival Today.
Hey.
It's that simple.
Good morning, everybody.
Welcome to Check the Market. We're checking the market today. Stock Market Samurai's on. Morning Bob Drain and Christophorus. Make sure you share the broadcast with everyone. We're still trying to put Fox Business and CNBC out of business. That is our long-term goal here at Check the Market.
That was funny.
Morning, AJ. How's everybody doing? How'd you guys do in the market yesterday? I did not do very well. Morning, Janice.
What stocks did you tank in?
A whole,
You're not gonna a whole
a
bunch
whole
of them.
bunch of them. Yeah. If there's one small thing that's off about earnings, they tank. People sell. I don't understand. Like,
Doesn't make sense.
no. And then sometimes there's not good news across the board, and they're like skyrocketing. CNBC is definitely going down. Louise, Mark, thanks for sharing. All right, let's get into it today.
Let's go.
First article. Bank of America. Second quarter profit jumps, helped by fewer bad loans. So it depends on what platform you're looking at these articles too,
Yeah.
because some of them are super.
I know.
It's weird. They
So
look at
weird.
they look at like the smallest thing. They make this article about how Bank of America is the worst bank ever, and then it's actually good news what we're seeing here.
You half wonder if they're invested in stock, if they're writing something positive about Bank of America.
Yeah, they might be invested in Wells Fargo or one of the other ones, so they don't want to be. I don't know.
So lame.
Let's see the article. Doge dropped to 18 cents, man.
Wow.
Oh, man. Bank of America's second quarter profit more than doubled. And the market's open. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding.
I'm glad we told. Oh, I was gonna say. I'm like, we had-
And it looks like the markets are up today.
Can
I believe, what's his name? Jerome Powell released what he was going to say to Congress today.
Okay.
So I think it kind of settled fears that there's not going to be enough liquidity in the markets. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's see the article. Bank of America. Bank of America's second quarter profit more than doubled from a year earlier as the consumer banking giant was able to move more loans onto the good side of its balance sheet as the pandemic wanes. Bank of America is the largest of the big Wall Street banks to report stronger profits this quarter, largely due to the improving economy and fewer borrowers being delinquent on their loans. But like other banks, Bank of America saw a decline in interest income because interests are down, and revenues from a year earlier because of lower interest rates. The Charlotte-based bank said it earned $9.22 billion in the last 3 months, or $1.03 per share. That's up from a profit of $3.53 billion, or 37 cents per share from the same period a year earlier. The results were better than the 77-cent per share profit that analysts had forecasted. So that's a big beat for Bank of America, from 77 cents to $1.03 per share. But it's still down for some reason, but I'll just buy some more today. Let's
Buy the
continue. Yeah. Bank of America's profits were boosted by two one-time items. The bank was able to release $1.6 billion from its loan loss reserves that it had set aside during the pandemic to guard against defaults, and also recorded a $2 billion one-time credit related to certain taxable assets in the UK. While Bank of America's profits rose from a year earlier, revenues did not. Interest income fell in the quarter to $10.23 billion from $10.85 billion a year earlier due to lower interest rates. Bank of America's balance sheet is more heavily weighted towards securities with short-term durations, which means the bank's interest income can fluctuate more when interest rates change compared to other banks. The bank also saw a decline in revenues from trading, similarly to what happened at JP Morgan Chase and Goldman Sachs. The second quarter of 2020 was a highly volatile one as traders navigated the impact of the pandemic, which gave Wall Street traders ample opportunities to find investments to profit from in volatility. Now that things have cooled down, those profits have declined. The bank's global markets division, which contains its trading desk, reported a profit of $908 million. That's down from $1.9 billion a year earlier. So not too bad. But I think that as they increase interest rates, these banks are going to be making more money, and that's why I'm investing in them now before they raise interest rates. All right, next article. Bank of England scraps curbs on bank dividends as pandemic crisis fades.
Did you watch England versus Italy?
I did not know. I knew Italy was going to win anyways.
That's probably why I knew you were going to say that.
England, they're just,
you were gonna say
they
that.
just always choke when it comes to big games. So it was just like foreseeable. Yeah, they're going to lose.
Wow. That's so funny. When
This
was the last
was-
time they won? 1960 something? I literally couldn't believe it that it went into the shootout or whatever the heck it's called. Is it called a shootout?
Penalties.
Penalty kicks. But that goalie for Italy, he's a rock star. Anyways, England.
This was England does suck. They always like blow it in the last minute.
I saw Prince Charles, Prince William,
Yes, he was
and
there.
his wife were there, and I just saw how the look of joy faded away.
He's gonna be depressed for a year now.
No kidding. No kidding. Him and many others. There was
Yeah.
little kids crying. Poor kids.
But why? Why cry over something like that? That's what I don't understand.
Happens all
Soccer
the
fans are
time.
so emotional.
They're so emotional.
They really are.
I can't. Who was watching it with us for the first time? Never watched like a actual soccer game. Was it you, Steph? No. It was like I can't remember who it was. They were like, "Did that guy really get hurt?" And I'm like, "No, yeah,
they're just
no."
being- they're just being
diving. Yeah, they're
dramatic.
just literally the best actors. Like
The best one is Neymar from Brazil.
Neymar.
When he falls down, it's like the world is ending.
but Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, him too.
Yeah.
Him too. Yeah, he is. But he is the
He's
greatest
just
of all
nice to
time.
look at. You're just like,
I know Kofi would disagree with me, but I think he's greater than Pelé, even though he's never won a international championship. But I think that if he was playing for one of the better teams, then he would have too.
You think he's better than Pele?
Pelé's just a legend, right?
Right.
But I don't think that he would be a good soccer player today.
This is very interesting.
And
I feel like this is kind of
controversial.
like
I know that.
Michael Jordan versus LeBron kind of situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. The world will never know. But
The world
Pele
will
is
never know.
number one.
Pelé is number one,
He's
yes.
he's Pele. And
But-
who doesn't know Pele? You go into the.
Who doesn't know Cristiano Ronaldo?
I mean, that's true.
When you say Ronaldo now, people don't even think of like the Brazilian Ronaldo, who used to be, one of the greatest soccer. He's also one of the greatest soccer players of all time. People think Cristiano Ronaldo when you say Ronaldo.
Spain. Yeah. Is he Spanish?
Portugal.
Portugal.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about we left out look at this guy. There he is, man. Okay.
See, but there's no drama with him. With Neymar, it's
No, but
just
look,
like
he's not even being touched though.
yeah, but with
That's insane. That's art. Like you have to practice that. I feel like you can't just this kind of stuff just doesn't. It's not muscle memory to most folks. Like he literally
just falls.
he gets these cards drawn on these players and for no reason. Nobody's even touching him.
With Neymar, there's just so much more drama. I just don't like Neymar. I think that's why. But he
Neymar
just, like,
is. I don't know why he's so unlikable. Is right.
goodness.
How about Messi?
Oh, look
though?
at that, yeah.
How are you not talking about Messi? Messi's fabulous.
No, I don't think so.
Wow.
I don't like Messi either. Mainly because there's like a Argentina-Germany like rivalry.
Feud.
Yeah. But Maradona I like.
Argentina took all of the Nazi Germans.
Yeah, that's why. Because I'm against Nazism, just for the record.
All right. I don't know how we got on this, but.
Is that good?
All right.
Good. All right, next article.
England. That's what it was. It was a company in England. That's what triggered.
Oh, Bank of England, that's right.
Yes, Kathy Woods.
Kathy
No,
Wood-
just kidding. Bank of England.
Bank of England scraps curbs on bank dividends as pandemic crisis fades. So it looks like England, business-wise, looks like it might come out of lockdown soon if they're scrapping curbs on bank dividends. So if they're keeping everybody in lockdown at this point,
It's just
then they should not be they should still have the curbs on bank dividends and stuff. But they don't. So good news for England?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yep. All right, next. Mike, if you tie your shoes, they may not happen. Definitely those soccer players.
I don't know. LeBron's such a little.
That is true, Christopherus. If I would have gone to Argentina, you would all know why. But I'm in America.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, next. Kathy Wood sells China tech stocks, warning of valuation reset. Let's see the article. Kathy Wood's ARK Investment Management has been selling Chinese tech stocks with holdings in one of the firm's funds falling to the lowest on record as Beijing's crackdown on the sector intensifies. China's Wading & Wood's flagship ARK Innovation ETF has plunged to less than 1% from 8% as recently as February, while that of the ARK Next Generation Internet ETF has fallen to 5.4%, the lowest compared month-to-month end figure since Bloomberg began compiling the data in October 2014. The China Weighting and ARK's FinTech ETF has remained steady at around 18%. I do think there's a valuation reset, Wood, ARK's founder and chief executive officer, said in response to questions on the outlook for larger Chinese tech firms during a monthly webinar with investors on Tuesday. From a valuation point of view, these stocks have come down, and again, from a valuation point of view, probably will remain down. The pairing of Chinese tech holdings by one of the world's biggest thematic fund providers underscores how the sector is losing its allure as Beijing increases scrutiny of the industry's data collection offshore listings. Many investors are wary of calling a bottom, even as a gauge of China's internet companies has rebounded in recent days after losing over $1 trillion of market value since mid-February. So you just never know with, what are they going to do next? If they're not going to be allowed to be listed on U.S. and European exchanges, and you have to buy Chinese stocks through Chinese exchanges, what if they just hold the money and don't clear your money when you sell them? Something like that, because you can never. At this point, I've lost all
100%.
Over the past year, that they've just been cracking down on all of these companies. Mm-hmm. It's going to stifle long-term growth, but I think there's going to be opportunities for Vietnam, the Philippines, Singapore, some of those other countries to take in some of those companies.
Yeah. Singapore is on my radar. Mm-hmm. They just removed the COVID count, and basically told their country, we're going to have to start living with this like it's the flu.
Yeah.
So I'm like, these people are my kind of people.
They're getting smart.
Yeah, for sure. Next.
Apple's potential buy now, pay later plan. You remember how we talked about Affirm?
Yes.
And all those buy now, pay later companies?
Yeah.
Apple's getting into that.
That is a little layaway
Yep,
sesh.
exactly. Buy now, pay later plans.
I've been seeing this, I'm telling you, everywhere I go, or everywhere I shop online, it's this buy now, pay later thing. Or it's just, pay $12.99 now for the next 5, months or whatever.
With usually with Affirm, right? It says if you look down,
Correct.
it's like
With
Affirm credit.
Correct. Yep.
So Affirm was crushed because of this, but let's see the article.
My.
Apple is working on a service that will let users pay for purchases in installments. Don't they already do that? Bloomberg News reported on Tuesday sending shares of Afterpay Limited and other buy now, pay later companies sharply lower. The U.S. tech giant will use Goldman Sachs, its partner since 2019, for the Apple Card credit card as the lender for the loans, Bloomberg reported, citing people familiar with the matter. Shares of Australia-listed Afterpay, the country's biggest BNPL provider, slid close to 10% in Wednesday's trading. Smaller rivals Zipco Limited and Zezel also fell sharply. Nasdaq listed Affirm Holdings tumbled more than 14% on Tuesday before closing down 10.5%. That might be a buying opportunity for Affirm too, because if it tumbles that much just on news,
Yep, correct.
because there's other companies that you can, that they can make profit from. It's not just Apple's not like the only company in the world.
100%. And just because it's Apple doesn't mean it's going to be executed.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be excellent, but still.
Yeah.
They already have they've been around for a while now.
Yeah, I don't think that this is going to affect them as much as the news media. They just love Apple.
100%.
Apple's just like the darling
So true.
of the news media
Facts.
and people around here except for me.
I know, clearly.
All right, let's continue. The prospect of going up against a company the size of Apple, as well as other likely entrants, would pose a major test to pure play BNPL firms, which have so far gone largely unchallenged. The Bloomberg report said Apple Pay users would be allowed to split their payments into 4 interest-free installments or across several months with interest. So like a regular credit card.
Yeah.
Continue. Continue. A Goldman Sachs spokesperson declined to comment. Apple was not immediately available for comment. Such an offering would rival similar services by Klarna, the Swedish, I believe it's Swedish, Afterpay, Zips, QuadPay, and Affirm, the sector's key growth market where competition is intense. PayPal launched its BNPL service in Australia on Wednesday, challenging Afterpay on its home turf, where U.S. payments giant said it would do away with late fees, an area that earned Afterpay close to Australian dollars 70 million in fiscal 2020. A Zip spokesperson said that Apple reported the move as was validation that what Zip has been doing is resonating with customers and merchants. I wonder how much money Apple is actually going to make from this, because I believe Goldman Sachs is probably going to make the most money,
100%.
which I'm invested in.
Goldman Sachs?
I like Goldman Sachs, yeah. Yeah, if Amazon gets into this space, that's right. Stock market samurai, that'd be interesting. He's got the Apple Card.
Who does?
Stock market samurai.
I use Apple Card and I love it. eBay got rid of PayPal, so they lost a lot of money. Okay. eBay got rid of PayPal, huh?
To check out with PayPal. Yep,
Oh,
probably.
well,
All right, next. Coffee prices skyrocket as demand increases and Brazil suffers drought.
Well.
Oh, man. So enjoy your coffees, everybody. Supply chain delays are also affecting coffee prices in Vietnam and Colombia. Let's see the article. Coffee is getting more expensive, according to a recent report. A drought in Brazil, coupled with an increase in demand for coffee as the world reopens after the coronavirus pandemic, has led to higher coffee prices, according to a report from the Wall Street Journal. The newspaper reported that the price of Arabica coffee beans, which is Brazil's main coffee variety, has hit its highest level since 2016 last month, as the country's coffee harvest is expected to drop dramatically this year because of the drought. I've been growing coffee for more than 50 years, and I've never seen as bad as drought as the one last year and this year. Cristina Valle, a coffee grower in Minas Gerais, Brazil, told the Journal, I normally take 3 months to harvest my coffee. This year it took me 1 month. Wow.
Like Brazil.
So this is a huge opportunity for Starbucks to increase their prices to $100 per coffee cup.
100%. Starbucks like, você fala? Você fala, menino?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't speak
Yeah,
Portuguese.
of course. I'm like
Or as I like to
basically
call
Brazilian.
it, Brazilian.
I feel like I am. I feel like I am Brazilian. I grew up amongst a bunch of Brazilians.
There's a lot of them up in there in Boston.
Yeah, many Brazil. So, but anyways,
Thankfully, I like Ethiopian coffee. Look at that.
Who said
Christophoros and
that?
I, we understand each other.
Christopher.
Ethiopian coffee is my favorite coffee.
literally is the best coffee
It
in the
is.
world.
That is true, Star.
Yeah,
That is what it
that's what it
tastes
is.
like.
Starbucks
When I first
does-
came to the U.S., Starbucks coffee was good.
Yes.
It was like the closest I could find to European coffee.
Oh, 100%.
And
Now it
over-
tastes like burnt
yeah,
tires.
it really does.
Yeah.
It's like getting on par with Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
I mean, I find that Dunkin' Donuts at least is pretty stable when it comes to
That is,
flavor.
they've always been bad.
It stings when you get a really good cup of coffee at Starbucks, and then the next day it's like, this is awful.
Yeah.
All right. Look, I'm sorry to continue to interrupt you with nonsense.
No problem.
The article.
Oh my goodness, Mike Frost. All right, next article. Inflation will moderate. So here's the good news. That's why the market is up on all indices. Even the Toronto Stock Exchange is up. Inflation will moderate, Powell says in prepared testimony to Congress. Discussion on when to taper asset purchases will continue in coming meetings, Fed chairman says. Continue. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell on Wednesday once again said that he thinks the sharp rise in inflation seen so far this year will dwindle away. Inflation has increased notably and will likely remain elevated in the coming
This is
months
such
before
BS,
moderating.
though. Come on.
You
Do
don't think
believe
it's going to
this?
go away?
It's not going to go away.
I think it
You
is.
keep printing money. How is it going to go away?
Well, we saw yesterday, whatever his name was, throwing money off the boat. So if more rappers do that, I
This
think
is
we
just
can decrease
bogus.
the money supply.
You're just trying to calm down the stock markets
Yes.
so that people don't freak out and panic. And of
Yes.
course, yes, it'll stabilize on its own. But and then you have crazy spending coming from the government. It's hogwash.
Yesterday, I saw that used cars increased 10.5%
Jeez.
last month in June. So the
10?
value of the cars went up 10%.
That's insane because it was at 3%.
Yep. Bethany was telling me there's a couple that was looking at a Mercedes GLS, and the new price and the used price for like a 2-year-old, 1-year-old one was so close that it was cheaper just to buy a brand new one.
Unbelievable.
Or almost the same. So
Yeah.
if you add like an additional 3,000-4,000 to it, you can buy a brand new one.
That is wild.
Just have to wait a while to get it. But yeah, because it's like a 6-month wait, 3 to 6 month wait now for
I
new
think
cars.
Jerome Powell is full of doo-doo.
Eh.
But it's crazy. That's all he needs to say in order to stabilize the market.
Yeah, that's why.
Even
that's
though it's
why
not
he does
true.
Because it's all timed perfectly because you get the CPI numbers coming out the very next day. You get a statement from the Fed chairman to stabilize markets.
Right. It's lunacy.
It is.
It's absolute government overreach.
It's so that there's not. Yeah. I mean, we can get.
I know we're going to get into this and we don't need to, but I'm going to after the show because I was listening to this podcast and it's kind of crazy about like the 3 cycles that are converging.
Yeah.
Just very, very bizarre. Very, very good podcast.
I think we'll see a correction soon. I'm hoping there's going to be a correction soon because everything is way too overpriced.
Yeah.
And it's taking me longer and longer to find a value stock that I can invest in. And most time you don't even want to invest in them because
I just feel like there'll be a correction, but eventually something's got to give. And I think everybody knows that.
yeah.
So it's just like, okay, we're just like prolonging the inevitable.
Yeah.
The dollar's going to collapse 100%, but we just don't know exactly when.
Yeah.
But this is to me, it's just hogwash. I can't stand reading stuff like this. It just like gets me so angry.
But it stabilizes markets.
Yep, it does. It certainly does. So
We are that little fan here at Check the Market that, calms your sweaty hands at the bowling alley.
who said that? One of the,
I forget who it was. I think it was Christopherus that said that.
oh, that's funny.
All right, let's see the article. Inflation has increased notably and will likely remain elevated in the coming months before moderating, Powell said, in testimony prepared for delivery to the House Financial Services Panel. The hearing with the Fed chairman will start at noon Eastern. His opening remarks have been released ahead of its testimony. On Tuesday, the U.S. June Consumer Price Index rose more than expected, jumping 0.9%, and the inflation rate in the 12 months ended in June climbed to 5.4% from 5%. The last time prices rose that fast was in 2008. When oil hit a record $150 a barrel. I remember that. Man. Powell cited 3 factors for higher inflation. Base effects, when weak readings of inflation last year drop out of the 12-month calculation. Production bottlenecks or supply constraints have led to sharp price increases after the pandemic and a surge in demand for services as the economy reopens. Continue. The Fed's forecast expects its favorite measure of inflation, the Personal Consumption Expenditure Price Index, to fall from 3.4% this year to 2.1% in 2022 and 2.2% in 2023. So, everybody, there's no need to fear. Here you have it. Prices are going to go back down. Then again, the price in lumber did go way back down again.
Yeah.
So we might see that across the board once they get these supply chain things
Demands
figured out.
Yeah. Yeah, once people stop buying into this COVID nonsense, we'll be back to normal.
It's such a...
They continue to draw out this nonsense.
Yeah.
So it's crippling economies. It's just so ridiculous.
It is. And because it is a global economy, you can't just look at the U.S. because a lot of our stuff comes from overseas.
Oh, 100%.
And so if they shut down...
I mean, look at Australia, the meat packaging hack.
Yeah.
That affected our meat prices.
Yeah.
I mean, we have barely anything to do with Australia. But I mean, it's just one of those things. It's just that once the COVID nonsense stops, we'll start to see the stabilization.
Or even, remember when that ship was stuck in the Suez Canal?
What was that about? I still find that to be the most bizarre.
Yeah, it's just there was a global supply bottleneck right there. The Suez Canal is one of the most, I would say, no, besides the Panama Canal, it's probably the second most important shipping way in the world.
How did that thing get wedged like that?
The ships, because ships are getting bigger and bigger, and the canals haven't been expanded. I'm not sure. There might be some ships that can't fit through the Panama Canal, because since they built it, the ships have gotten bigger and bigger. They've got like Supermax and now Gigamax ships that can't even fit through there. And so these ships, these Supermax ships, are still trying to go through these canals, and one tiny error, and that's what happens.
I mean, that was insane.
Yeah.
That was looking pretty bleak, too. What happened?
Hey, Jay. The guy
That's literally what it looked like.
It is.
And then they had like no hope. They were like, we have no idea how to get it out.
Yeah.
And then by some grace, like miracle or whatever, some random dude was able to get it out.
One of those ships that has like all those buckets that takes out the sand from the bottom, and they got it like unwedged enough to where they could move it.
Unbelievable.
It just actually, I think a week ago or 2 weeks ago, it was able to pass through the Suez Canal because the Egyptian authorities were holding it hostage because who's going to pay the bill? Because now you have all these ships stuck in the Mediterranean that can't pass through the canal, and they're missing out on revenue.
Oh, for sure. It's crazy.
It is.
Okay.
But yeah, if those things keep happening, things like that, that's what's driving that, and the money supply. That's what's driving inflation.
Yeah.
And then there's countries like China and whoever else wants to shut down their ports, and then you can't get goods out.
No joke.
That's what you get for a global economy.
Decentralized.
Yeah. All right, next.
Okay.
So this is the tip of the day. You check your stock portfolio dozens of times a day. Is that a problem? Some investors obsess over the market, and concerned financial advisors bring perspective. These are the investors that just sell immediately when there's news. They're like, we need to be the first ones to sell. Diamond hands, everybody. Let's see the article. Advisors often give 2 directives to anxious clients. Stick with the plan and don't check your portfolio every day. So the tip of the day is don't check your portfolio every day. Unless you're day trading, then you don't have a chance. You don't have a choice. You have to check it. Sticking with the financial plan that investors pay their advisors to customize, or that you do yourself for free, But for some investors, it's hard to resist repeatedly checking their brokerage balance. Some people will even will track their portfolio every hour. It's almost reflexive. If they have a spare minute, see how the market's doing and look for those reassuring green indicators. If you're day trading or if you're doing like your high risk trading, that's why it's always good to have two different accounts. You have one for your high risk trading, Robinhood or whatever it is, or Cash App, and then you have one, E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, whatever you want to use for your long-term portfolio. You don't need to look at that every single day
No, of course
because it's a long-term portfolio.
Right.
Otherwise, just put it in your other account.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, like QAnon, stick with the plan.
Trust the plan.
Oh, man. Continue. Yet for individuals who dwell too heavily on their account balance and find that market volatility affects their mood and even their overall mental health, Coolin suggests ways to help them cope. For example, he encourages investors to limit their portfolio tracking to predetermined times. You need to wean yourself off of looking multiple times a day to once a day, and then once a week, then once a month. So wean yourself off your portfolio. Savvy advisors know that lecturing or scolding clients for compulsively counting their money won't produce results. Few people respond well to a professional who expresses disappointment in their actions or disapproves of their behavior. So that's why the advisors don't want you to do it, because then they're going to get sad if you yell at them because they lost you money.
What kind of article is this? Like, you're going to get scolded.
Basically, what I'm trying to say is don't check your long-term portfolio every single day, not because your advisor doesn't want you to, but because sometimes it's counterproductive, especially if you have a day when the market's down 500 points. There's no need looking. I don't even look
100%,
at it. I don't even open.
It's true.
Shut off the news, and I just pretend that day didn't happen.
That's great.
All right, next. China set to launch the world's largest emissions trading program. So we've been talking about this, carbon market trading. The carbon market will double the share of global emissions covered under such systems. Now, if China's getting into this, I think this will force the hand of, because China is, they're like the number one biggest polluter.
Well, that's what I'm saying. How?
People were wearing masks before masks were mandatory for
100% for lung.
Yeah, exactly. Taking it off at the end of the day and it turned from blue to black.
Yeah, look at that. That's smog. That's disgusting.
That's probably why they started coming out with the black masks.
Yeah, probably.
So that you can't see all the smog in it. Yeah. Let's see the article. China is set to launch its long-planned national emissions trading program, a system that would create the world's largest carbon market and double the share of global emissions covered under such programs. The carbon market will help the country lower greenhouse gas emissions and achieve its goal of reaching peak emissions before 2030 and carbon neutrality or net zero emissions by 2060. Doubt it. Officials said at a news conference Wednesday, China is the world's largest carbon emitter or polluter. Mm-hmm. Invitations for launch ceremonies set for Friday were sent out. Oh, I'm going to have to check my email. According to people familiar with the situation. The program will initially involve 2,225 companies in the power sector. Those companies are responsible for a seventh of global carbon emissions. Wow. From fossil fuel combustion, according to calculations by the International Energy Agency. So China is launching a carbon market where they will sell these carbon credits, or they'll trade these carbon credits. Mm-hmm. Opportunity? Possibly. Maybe not in China, but everywhere else. Let's see. Let's continue. Under the trading program, emitters such as power plants and factories are given a fixed amount of carbon they are allowed to release a year. They can in turn buy or sell
China's
those
going to actually do this?
Mm-hmm. The government's going to make money off of this.
Yeah, but they're going to lose a ton of money if they're going to give people a fixed amount of carbon that they're allowed to release a year.
It's basically a tax. So what they're doing is, okay, you're still, you have 100 carbon credits, but you had 120 carbon emissions this year. So those 20 you're going to have to buy somewhere. So you go and you buy those carbon credits. And it depends on who's selling them. If you're the owner of national parks, of the national parks of the country, then you can sell whatever carbon credits that national park produces to those companies, thereby taxing them. Or if they can't buy those, then you just tax them. you're like, okay, you're going to have to pay a fine now.
Wow.
So it's basically just a way to get a carbon tax. So they're saving the environment by making more money, which is good. That's exactly how it's gonna work out.
Carbon credits, man. That's fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
Into that.
There's so much information about it, but it's very difficult to buy carbon credits right now. It's mainly just you can buy companies that sell carbon credits, like excess carbon credits, but you have to be cleared. Because I was looking at doing it on the European exchanges. You have to go through like an application process, and they need to be vetted and all of these things to be able to. It's like a long process.
It's not going to be
Yeah.
one.
Next. Delta reports first profits since COVID-19 pandemic began. Travel demand has been overwhelming as vacationers rush back. So they've been, I think it was $650-something million in profit. So way to go, Delta. Let's see, where are they at today? And they're down. Makes no sense. They're down 0.5%. All right, next. ECB starts next digital euro stage with investigation phase. Let's see the article. The European Central Bank took a major step towards a digital euro on Wednesday, approving an investigation phase that could ultimately lead to a virtual currency being implemented around the middle of the decade. The next stage will last 24 months and aims to address key issues on design and distribution, the ECB said in a statement. So the European Union is moving fast ahead with the central bank digital currency. So we'll see what happens there. The ECB eventually adopts a virtual currency. It will likely follow in the footsteps of China, where trials have started in several cities, Eastern Caribbean islands that share a central bank, including Grenada. St. Kitts and Nevis have already launched their own versions. The U.S. Federal Reserve and Bank of England are also looking into possibilities for their accounts, for their economies. Did I tell you that what the Chinese yuan, what they do, is they can force you to spend money to increase liquidity in the market with the digital currency. That I saw an article on that. So what they would do is you have your digital yuan in your wallet, and you've got a certain amount in your savings account.
Oh, and then it expires.
And it expires. So you have to spend it before it expires.
I hate that that's so brilliant, but
It is on
just-
the yeah, but it's
wicked.
It is.
Wicked, yeah.
they've done it, I believe, in Cyprus during the Euro crisis that happened. When was that? 2010, 2010-ish.
Yeah.
Right around that time, they forced people who had more than a certain amount in their savings account. The government just took
That's right.
whatever was above and beyond that.
Yeah. Oy.
So now they're trying it in the biggest country in the world, most populated country. It's interesting. And Europe probably wants to do the same thing. I
Yeah,
mean, they're just
100%.
money hungry. And I just had my passport revoked. Next. Weekly mortgage refinance spiked 20% after interest rates dropped to February low. So interest rates dropped to 3.09%, and weekly mortgage refinances have spiked 20%. People want to get those rates because they heard about the Fed increasing rates, so I believe that there's going to be a rush to get these lower rates. All right, let's go over the low, medium, and high for today. Low is Generac Holdings Incorporated, GNRC, a designer and manufacturer of power generation equipment and other engine-powered products, has had earnings per share growth of 37.39% over the past 5 years, revenue growth over 13% on average. There will be continued interest in power generation equipment with aging electricity infrastructure and more severe natural disasters. Company is overvalued currently, but still has upside momentum and is still a strong buy for multiple analysts. Maybe wait a little to buy some options on it instead if you don't want to outright invest in the company. Company is one of the most profitable in electric generation industry, should have no problem servicing its debt. Risks would include higher costs of materials, supply chain bottlenecks, competition, and economic downturn. Medium, NLY. Annaly Capital Management, Inc., a mortgage real estate investment trust that invests mainly in mortgage-backed securities for both residential, commercial, and management of commercial and real estate debt, currently trading off its highs of 9.64 at around 850, has a 10.3% dividend yield, has multiple buy ratings for analysts and firms. Revenue has been declining over the last couple of years, but it's at a discount compared to most other firms in the industry. This company converts a larger percentage of its profits into revenue than most in the industry, and these profits are paid out to shareholders. That's why it has such a high dividend yield. They're posting better earnings this year than they did the last couple of years. Risks would include uncertainty in the mortgage or real estate markets. Another risk would be dividend cuts and a rise in long-term interest rates. So NLY, get it while you can, 10.3% dividend, which is not bad at all. It's actually incredible. And full disclosure, I am invested in this one, and I have been for a while. High QRTEA, Curate Retail Incorporated, is a company that is engaged in the video and online commerce industries. The company owns QVC, HSN, and Zulily. Technicals and fundamentals are positive and very bullish on this stock. Has had earnings per share growth of over 18% and revenue growth of over 9% over the past 5 years. Has one of the lowest PE ratios in the industry and is being talked about positively on multiple platforms by analysts. Curate also just got a new CEO and will do some hard work to get more traction on in the e-commerce environment, not just on television, as it's been growing the past couple of years. The company is fairly highly leveraged, and some other risks would include economic downturn due to its cyclical nature. I would consider this a high-risk value stock. So there you have it. Low GNRC, medium NLY, high QRTEA. BDSI, biodelivery, is a sell at a target price of 7 or so. Let me take a look at BDSI. You can find this broadcast on YouTube, Facebook,
And on our app, if you haven't downloaded it,
that's right.
now is your chance. We have an app, Revival Today, available on the App Store, Google Play, and of course now you can watch us on Roku, Fire TV, Android TV, and Apple TV. Whoop, whoop.
And I would sell BDSI. Price target of 7 is, that is fairly high. If I bought it now, I would probably wait till it hits 7, just because of how cheap it is. The previous high was at around 7. I would actually do like 6. I would do between 550 and 650 for a sell.
How are the videos coming along? The toots.
How are the tutorials coming along?
Tutorials.
Awesome. Soon. There's one that's done.
Can't wait to see it.
Be good.
I bet it's going to be wonderful. All right, listen, thanks for donating, Evangelist Kofi, the OG here. If you want to donate, you get this amazing mug right here behind this $100 bill that I can't reach. It's back there somewhere, but here's the mug. Show it on the screen. That is your gift for a donation of any size. So if you're watching on Facebook, now's your chance to give. #donate. Text RT to 50155. If you'd like to use Cash App, $RT Give, Venmo RT Give. We're still using PayPal, revivaltoday.com/PayPal. If you'd like to donate your crypto, we're accepting crypto of all kinds. So scan the code or visit us at revivaltoday.com/give. There's one last way to give, and that is through snail mail. Revival Today, P.O. Box 7, Prosperity, PA 15329. Please don't forget to claim your offer, revivaltoday.com/offer. Or give us a phone call, 412-446-2332. If you guys have any last-minute questions, yes, Janet, they're gonna be great, and we can't wait to share them with you. The tutorials. If you have any last-minute questions, now's your chance. If not, here's the lineup for today. Evangelist Jonathan's coming in at 11 a.m. To teach. There it is. Followed by Maddie Ortiz at 4 p.m. And now, Check the News can be watched on our new time, 10 p.m. Fabulous. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching today. We will see you tomorrow live with Evangelist Kofi at 7:30, and then here on Check the Market at 9:20 a.m. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, everyone.